Hey drummers, hope you're doing well. Shout out to superstar channel member Brian who's working on this. This is the Herbie Hancock Chameleon, the version from grade 6 in Rockschool, so Rockschool Grade 6, and it's like an arrangement of the original classic. The original's like 15 minutes long, isn't it? So this is a shortened version, a distilled version, but it's got loads of great elements of the original tune, and not least Harvey Mason's amazing drum part. What we're going to look at here, just to get us going, I'll do a couple of videos about this, including a later one I'll do about some of the fills in this version, but this is just the 4-bar loop that kind of gets the groove going and really sets the tone for it. If you've got the Rockschool Grade 6 book, this is bars 5 to 8, but don't worry if not. As ever on the channel members page, I'll put the notation for this 4-bar loop and the practice along version for it as well that you can hit play on, groove along with, slow it down, do whatever you got to do. Goes like this. Iconic part. Now there's a few little cool elements of it. It's a straight 8s hi-hat feel, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I think the first thing you notice when you listen to it is the syncopated snare drum. So the snare drum, often we play a backbeat, don't we, which is a big hit on beat 2 and beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Well, in this case, we're playing the 4, but the first snare drum hit is not on the 2, it's on the of beat 1. And that goes in between the hi-hats. 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So the game at first is just doing that, getting a feel for it. There's an element here of 16th note swing. It's an interesting thing when you listen to the original. I think Harvey Mason's amazing playing. The degree to which he's swinging changes quite a bit, like the 16th note swing. It's not 8th note swing, but 16th note swing. The degree to which he's changing the level of swing is kind of interesting. It moves around a lot. Makes me think of Stevie Wonder's drumming from the same sort of era. In fact, maybe it was an early 70s thing. I don't know. Maybe it was a 70s thing generally, or a funk thing. But drummers like Stevie Wonder, it's that thing where quite often I feel like the grooves have more of a swing feel. And often when it gets to a fill, I feel like often the grooves are like more swung than the fills, but there's something to play around with. But I would say on the whole, especially if you're near the start with this, just treat it as if it's got 16th note swing all the way through. The 16th, so 1 E and, 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and. So that hand part again real quick. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now the bass drum part. So you've got the bass drum on 1, 1 and a 2 and 3 E and 4 and. So then it's on E and. A classic 2 quick hits on the bass drum, which at this point, grade 6, I think it's kind of expected you'd be somewhat fluent with. That classic thing where you kind of, well, for me, with my heel up technique, I would sort of bounce on the ball of your foot, your big toe even, or ball of your foot for the first note, and then have the second note being more the whole of your foot and leg just kind of flopping back down. That move. And here we go, I'll go nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Nice and slow. Okay, we'll pick it up. Now, as you can hear there, once you've got a flow going there, it says this in the Rockschool book. In fact, have a little play around with some ghosted notes. It says to develop the groove in the style, in the fashion that Harvey Mason did, including those lovely ghosted, quiet left stick notes in between the hi-hats. I would say if this groove is new, definitely play without the ghost notes first. Get a feel for it, get it to sit. It's at 100 BPM. Just get it to sit there for a bit, get that swinginess happening, get it feeling right. But then when you're ready, little ghosty notes in between. And lastly, there's a little drum fill on the 4th bar, which just makes it a bit of fun. Goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E quite notably, I would say, again, he seems to straighten out somewhat. This is on the original, straighten out somewhat on the drum fill. So you can do that or you can not do that. It works fine both ways in this arrangement. But just if you're kind of feeling good with the rest of it, you could have some fun just straightening out the 16ths on that fill. I'll play the loop a little bit now. And in that 40 and, there's also a crescendo there. So the idea is you start a bit lower, build the volume up as you play 40 and. Boom, ba, ba. Cool. One last thing, people always talk about the bass drum as in like burying the beater. They say, oh, was he burying the beater? So I never think burying the beater as in like pressing down hard, like after you've made your strike, so that you're squishing the beater into the head. I never think that's a good look or a good idea, or helps the thing flow. But there is such a thing as dead stroking, I think it's called, where you play the beater does land on the head, like stays on the head after it strikes. I've seen many a video, Jeff Porcaro, Chad Smith, many other drummers doing that, and I use that quite a bit. I think it depends on the style of music that you're playing. I think here, in this funk genre, clearly in the world of funk here, jazz funk, when you listen to Harvey Mason's kit, it's pretty dead. The bass drummer's probably got some padding in it, and I think he's kind of laying into it. And I don't know, but it seems like maybe he's like doing that dead stroking thing. I think in any case it works here because you don't want that sort of big ringing out sound. It's a sort of dead funk thump, and that's great. If you were playing something in a different style, jazz, Latin, orchestral music, something where it's like you want that big open sound and the bass drum perhaps didn't have any dampening in it, yeah, cool. I'd be more conscious of the beater coming back off the head perhaps, but in this context I think it works just fine and kind of helps with the boom, helps with just the whole vibe and the funk feel, I reckon. So shout out to Brian. As ever, on the channel members page I'll have the full notation for that 4-bar loop and a practice along version you can hit play on, slow down, go as slow as you like. Thanks for watching as always. Cheers.